Hey guys, it's Road Dodgers Politics here, back with another video. Sorry I've not uploaded in quite a few weeks, and I know it's been really heavy with news these past few weeks. So I'm here now, and I'm going to talk about obviously a lot of you will now know, there has been a mass shooting in America again, this time in Las Vegas. The largest mass shooting now in modern US history, with 59 dead and hundreds more injured taken to hospital. That's the confirmed number so far. I'm not going to say the name of the perpetrator because I don't think he deserves the coverage, to be honest. Like, he doesn't need... I think BBC and all the other news outlets do that enough. So, yeah, the shooter went to Las Vegas, stayed in a hotel on the 32nd floor, and decided to open fire with a automatic machine gun and mow down hundreds and hundreds of innocent festival goers who were, watching a country music festival. And as I said, 59 people have now been confirmed dead, and hundreds of more have been taken to hospital. So absolutely tragic, horrific event, and it doesn't come as a shock to me now. Hearing this sort of news, like, I woke up and I looked at my Twitter feed and I saw the hashtag and I was like, Las Vegas, oh, look, it's another shooting. Am I surprised? No. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's just becoming very, very normalised because apparently, like, there's a shooting in America, there's based on gun violence, every single day, almost every single day. I think last year there were more shootings in America than there were days in the year. That's terrible. That's a terrible statistic. And we're asking the same age-old question: gun control. What are we going to do about gun control? We need to regulate who buys guns and who they are, and that, like, we need to do background checks on them, etc. We're asking all the same questions over and over again. Each time it happens, whether it's Sandy Hook and a bunch of school kids who get murdered, whether it's Virginia Tech, or if it's Orlando in Florida in a gay club, like, it will just keep happening. And I don't know how many more people have to die for people to stand up and take note and try and make some kind of change. But it won't, because, like, in all honesty, I just think this is just going to keep continuing, because gun culture is such a massive part of American culture, and politicians as well, they're just as bad. You've got, like, Second Amendment, which is interpreted in all kinds of different ways. The right to bear arms is considered, it's not really a right to possess arms, and it's really for self-defense. And if you think about when the Constitution was written in, like, the 1700s, only, like, single-fire muskets were used then. Obviously, the most immediate reaction a lot of people will be, like, thinking of and doing are, my thoughts and prayers go out to the victims, thoughts and prayers. Let's pray, let's send condolences, and, pray for the victims. God is within our hearts, and God is with the families of the victims, etc., etc. That's also what a lot of politicians like to do, because they know that that's basically a translation for I will do nothing to make any changes whatsoever. But, it makes good for the press. So, yeah, and that's admirable. Like, if people want to do that, God bless. But in my view, thoughts and prayers, I'm getting really fed up with this, because let's change our profile picture to the flag of the country where it happened. It's like, in all honesty, no offense, but that's going to do fuck all, like, for anybody. It's not going to do anything. Like, God bless, fine. Like, if it makes you feel better about yourself and it makes you feel like you're doing something, then fine, go ahead. But praying is not going to do anything. And that's that. As I said, that's what politicians like to do, like Republicans as well as Democrats as well. Like, they're guilty of it. They'll say, oh, well, we shouldn't politicize this event. We shouldn't politicize it. How dare you? How dare you politicize this terrible, tragic event? Like, stop politicizing it. We shouldn't be talking about gun control. And of course you should be talking about gun control, because it's a fucking gun violence event. Someone just decided they were going to take an automatic weapon and shoot it at hundreds of people. 59 people have been murdered, and you're saying we shouldn't talk about gun control. You absolute fucktards. Yes, we should. Like, this is such a massive problem with like gun culture in America. I keep saying it, and Republicans will not lift a finger because they're bought. They're fucking bought politicians who bow to the NRA and gun manufacturers who will give them campaign donations to fund their re-election campaigns and you know, so on and so forth. They are bought. So they will not lift a finger. But if they are told don't do anything to, you know, threaten our sales, our profits, because we'll stop giving you money, that's exactly what they'll do. They will not lift a finger. They'll block any sort of law changes, any sort of bills about gun control and gun laws and background checks, etc. They will not lift a fucking finger. So if you think that the US government at this time gives a fuck about your family, your life, they don't. All they care about is money given to them from their donors, the NRA, the National Rifle Association. All they care about is making profits and making sales. And, you know, they've got blood on their hands. So I'm sorry, America. If you're watching from America, if you're someone who lives in America, I'm sorry if I'm somehow if you're offended by what I'm saying. But you really do have a systemic problem with, like, people who buy guns and, you know, just go off and massacre people. Like, it's a huge problem. I know gun culture is like a really complex issue, but it needs to be dealt with because I don't know how many more innocent civilians you're going to let die before something changes. So here are some statistics based on like gun ownership in the US. So okay, so this is a Guardian article. So there are 88 guns for every 100 people. So for every 100 people in the US, 88 people own at least one gun. That's appalling. Like, that's nearly every person in the US that is armed with a gun. Like, every person, like, owns a gun in their whole country. Jesus Christ. So let's go on. More than 30,000 people are more than 30,000 Americans are killed with guns each year. About 2/3 of these are based on suicides. 30,000 people killed by guns each year. That roughly. That's like a war zone, man. You're living in a war zone. Jesus Christ, I don't think that many people die in Iraq in a year. Jesus Christ. So yeah, you've got like increases in handgun usage and ownership. 70% proportion of gun murders in the United States in which a handgun is the weapon, according to the FBI. 71 increase in the amount of handguns owned in the US. A 38% increase of gun ownership since 1994. And, you know, the statistics go on. 2.8 billion is the amount total hospital expenses to treat US gunshot victims annually. Wow. That's a lot of money. So yeah, like, that's only just a few statistics to show you, like, just the extent of the problem. It's just monumental, guys. Like, something needs to change, and I don't know what it is, because each time this happens, and like, it's not a surprise. I am not surprised. Each time this happens, it doesn't come as a shock. Like, oh God, look, another gun attack has happened by this person. But don't politicize it. God forbid we should politicize it because it's a lone wolf white guy. Like, it's like, fuck's sake, man. If it was an Islamic terrorist, we would be politicizing this to the ends of the earth. And we should, and Trump would be like, oh yes, that's why we need a Muslim ban, that's why we need to bomb the fuck out of them, oh my God, let's get rid of all the brown people and the Muslims and the Islamic terrorists, it's like, oh my God, it's terrible. So we should do something about Islamic terrorists who, like, commit, like, a infinitesimal fraction of violence in the US compared to 30,000 people who are killed by guns in the US every year, and yet politicians do not blink about it. Like I said, this is an absolute tragedy, and I don't know what to do about it. And until politicians and, you know, legalised bribery get changed or reformed, which I doubt will happen, you know, people will just be letting other innocent people die for no reason and then not do anything, which is just a crying shame in the US. In a developed country, you still have like the most amount of, you know, civilian deaths based on gun violence, which is disgraceful, and it won't change until politicians decide that they're not going to get bought anymore, and that's the sad truth. So yeah, that's about it, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to, and I'll see you in another video. Peace.